This video was sent to me not once, but twice. Tundra sent it in our chat, and then Engrove sent it to me later. Everyone's telling me to react to this video, so I want to see what this is about. The day a demon lord wiped out everyone. This video was posted 2 days ago, already 148k views. Damn. Damn. Okay, let's see what this video is all about. Everyone wants me to react to it? Well, I'm about to. And I did not watch it after it was sent to me yesterday. Giving you the live reaction right now. Sam looked like he had a mini heart attack there. Yeah. Thanks for that, Lords.
Guys, how do I get to Ironforge?
What the hell?
Looking for healer for stockades.
Oh, I'll join you. Dude, let's go Cap Court and Strangle Thorn.
Yeah, let's go.
People just enjoying the game. Oh, no.
Finally. Man, this new game's been great. I can't wait to quest in Darkshore next. March 2005. The day Lord Kazakh was...
Did you really play Vanilla WoW unless this happened to you? This happened so many times back in Vanilla. Somebody kiting this guy. If you don't know about this, yes, Kazakh was kiteable, especially by hunters. They were able to kite him all the way into Stormwind and essentially wipe out every noob in the city. And back then there were a lot of them, including myself.
Kited and pulled to the city of Stormwind, marking one of the most notorious World of Warcraft events that created its own tradition. Kazakh's invasion wiped out countless of players' lives and left the Alliance capital of Stormwind in
you know
ruins,
about this.
which would usually be players' safest location to reside in. The day started out as any other. Low levels were running back to the city to learn their new spells.
That's right.
The auction house was bustling, and raiders were setting up for another all-nighter. Everything was ordinary, apart from a thought that entered the mind of one or several scheming players. What if I pull something very dangerous to the Alliance to mess with them? But before we get into that, ad time. Are you tired of playing games you used to love but now have become a total mess and you keep asking yourself where it all went wrong? Well, I have one question for you. Do you guys not have phones? Because Raid Shadow Legends is here to drag you out of your pit of despair. Raid celebrated its 4th anniversary just last month. Theme of the celebration is dinner party, and Raid asked me which champions I would invite. So I have to go with Cephalia, a useful support who
Raid Shadow Legends has to have an advertising budget of like multi-million dollar advertising budget, because these guys berate everybody in every single YouTube video, Twitch stream. I mean, I feel like at this point I'm going to sit on my toilet and when I flush it, it's going to be like, Raid Shadow Legends, 30% off, join now.
And always be on hand in case someone gets a boo-boo. And you know I gotta bring in Dulcea, the Ice Queen, along. Keep the drinks nice and chill. Can't forget about Bistofus. He'll be able to both cut up and cook the meats at the grill at the same time with his flaming blades. Finally, I gotta bring
this
in
is not a Dorn video.
all about prolonged encounters.
But he probably would.
For keeping the celebration going all night long. But there's more. Live Arena PvP will be coming in Raid's newest update with a pick and ban phase where you go up against others for lots of amazing rewards. Use my QR code or the link in the description and receive Kellen the Shriek. Download Raid Shadow Legends right now. Now back to Kazakh's invasion. How did it happen? This method of messing with other players wasn't exactly unheard of. The term training was popularized in EverQuest, where mobs could follow you forever after you had pulled them, as they followed close behind, similar to train wagons. People used this technique to grief other players that thought they were otherwise safe from harm. So,
I didn't know
over
that
a while,
existed
players back then also noticed that creatures could technically chase after you forever as well. And a very good class for this would be a... Hunter. Of course.
The Hunters,
the root of all of Azeroth's problems, I guess. Or any...
The pullers of bosses. The killers of raids. The trolls of trolls, hunters, that's right.
Range class preferably, as you would have to always stay within a certain range of the creature and not run too far away from its radius, and you had to continuously damage it every now and then to retain aggro. Usually people would apply this tactic in order to kite out strong foes and eventually slay them. But what if this was applied to something much more dangerous with malicious intent? And this is where Kazakh
The
comes
Turret
in.
of Dragon.
He was a pretty important guy lore-wise, as he was tasked to secure the blasted lands for the Legion, primarily occupying the Tainted Scar, and
Right.
eventually would be the one to reopen the Dark Portal, thus beginning the Burning Crusade expansion. Gameplay-wise, he was one of the few world bosses which were powerful.
You know what I just reeled about Kazakh? So this is true for a lot of vanilla characters. They are just reskins. Kazakh is a Tauren model. I just realized this. I've been playing this game since 2005. Kazakh is a Tauren. Look at his model. He's just a Tauren with a modified, hideous face. But he is just a Tauren. Which is actually hilarious. I never noticed that.
Elites that, although had the
He's a
strength
reskin of a Tauren.
instance raid bosses, could be instead located in the open world. Kazakh himself, though, was seen as fairly simple by players back then. His melee attacks weren't too strong, and neither were his spells really. For coordinated high-level groups, it
Yeah,
was a
you could kill
pretty
him.
straightforward experience. Essentially, most of the action Kazakh would face is him getting pushed around and bullied by raiders for his item drops.
Right.
They laughed at him, but he never forgot.
He
His
never
rage
forgot.
would continue boiling within him in anticipation to exact his eventual revenge. The mastermind orchestrators knew
Huntards are
that.
only the best of them.
They saw Kazakh's potential, and they considered his potency in an environment full of level 15s in their Westfall leveling gear, along with some random, constantly respawning NPCs. Thus,
Nice.
they appeared before him on that fateful day, and would begin their operation.
I wish we knew the legend who first did this.
They attacked Kazakh to draw his attention, and without delay he would begin his relentless pursuit. The group then slowly began making their way to their destination of Stormwind, as they would have to make their way out of Blasted Lands, into Swamp of Sorrows, through Deadwind Pass, into Duskwood, and finally into Airwind Forest. Those traveling in these areas may have been able to spot the enormous demon making its way to Stormwind, but could only watch as Kazakh finally made his first step in the Alliance capital.
It was that AoE bolt that he would shoot out. It would just annihilate like all the level 1s to 5s in the area, wiping them out.
His rampage would begin. But there were good reasons as to why Kazakh specifically was by far the most dangerous boss to be pulled to Stormwind in this situation. Again, for a coordinated high-level group, he may have posed marginal threat, but if we take a look at his abilities again, we can begin seeing
That's
the
it.
concerns as with
Shadow Vault Volley hurls missiles of dark magic to enemies in a massive range, 800 to 1,000 damage. Everybody in range would get one-shotted if they were like below level 10 or something. Cast a magical debuff. Yeah, this would wreck people
For example, his ability to heal for 70,000 health whenever someone around him died.
too. An infinite health.
Not only that,
He got infinite
but
health,
he also
basically.
had Shadow Bolt Volley, which hit every target in
Yep.
a massive
That's-
range around him with a projectile.
If you
And
didn't die to Shadow Moot Volley, is that what it was called? If you didn't die to that, did you even play Vanilla WoW?
would also pass through terrain. This would melt anyone who was lacking in levels and gear,
That's
and
it.
aggro every NPC in the area.
One shot.
Oh, and not only that, he would also enter Supreme Mode 3 minutes after he had been pulled, which would cause him to spam his Shadow Bolt Volley every second. And
Complete carnage.
Yeah, it goes without saying that by the time he would reach Stormwind, he already would have been enraged for quite a while.
Yeah,
Due to
he was
Kazakh's
fully
constant
engorged.
healing, players quickly
by the time he got
realized
to
their
Stormwind.
efforts to attack him would amount to nothing, as he began his destruction through the city. It wasn't only the low-geared players constantly healing him up due to them getting obliterated in mere seconds.
Every time you rezzed, you essentially healed him again because you came back and died again.
It was also the constantly respawning
guards.
rabid guards. Even when facing this world-ending foe, they just couldn't fight their primal instincts of aggroing onto him.
That bloke is being highly illegal. We should probably take him
It's
to the
so good.
stockades.
Sir, I don't think,
But not yet. He's a bit too far away from me to care. But when he does get a bit closer...
Sir, we really
gets
should
into
retreat.
aggro
I
range.
have a family and...
Ah, here he comes, boy. Lock him up. Attack!
Respawn and do
People
it
would
again.
attempt to desperately scatter. Those who had just logged in or just arrived at the city would be welcomed by a sea of corpses and
Yep.
would soon join them. Players would also try to desperately pull Kazakh to the throne room in hopes that Bolvar might be able to save
Please,
them.
Bolvar.
But that also turned out to be futile. For the most part, Bolvar would just sit there, staring at them, maybe even enjoying it, as Kazakh would litter the castle with
Bolvar the
skeletons.
Watcher.
Players
That's his
could only
name.
look on from their ghost forms as the unstoppable demon ravaged through Stormwind. But that was when Azeroth's final line of defense would be summoned.
Maybe in one of the expansions there could be this big bald guy. And hey, don't you have pending player tickets? What?
Oh no. Talking about Shadow. Oh, God.
Oh. Guess I'll log in and check what's up.
It's supposed to be a peaceful city, and instead, a GM logs in and sees a demonic overlord who has become so engorged and enraged that the city has become uninhabitable. What a wonderful thing the player base has done. The animation's great.
Oh, you're not supposed to be here.
And thus, Lord Kazakh was vanquished and returned back to the Tainted Scar. The
so
players
good.
reflected on this horrible tragedy that had befallen them that day.
I remember the first time I saw Lord Kazakh at Stormwind, I thought it was like a server event or something. I thought he was supposed to be there. But,
Awesome!
Yo, what
Nope,
the hell?
just
That
getting
was
trolled.
amazing! Yeah, let's pull him again! What? And naturally decided to keep recreating it. History was made, and the tradition of pulling creatures to player hubs had been born.
there you go.
People would now continue to pull everything they were able to various
Fel
popular
Reaver to
locations.
Looking for more for Azurgos! Hey, Azurgos is right here!
Oh, that's nice. Wait, what?
What in oblivion is that?
At least this time, players could coordinate and work together to bring some of these foes down. Players would have their fun pulling world bosses to various places until eventually Blizzard would
One of the best parts about MMOs is shit like this, I swear.
implement a patch which made it so these world bosses were leashed to their respective areas,
Yeah.
meaning they could no longer be pulled outside of them. Later down the line during the TBC Dark Portal Opens event, lore-wise, Mr. Kazakh will leave to be a nuisance over at Hellfire Peninsula, in Outlands, and in his place he appointed High Lord Cruel, who, gameplay-wise and look-wise, was basically the same as him, and he would randomly decide to pay a visit to various places across Azeroth and wreak havoc upon anyone unfortunate enough to find themselves in his path. This was clearly an event that paid an homage to the Kazakh incident, as in this example, he was just spawned out of thin air in front of Orgrimmar and thus invading it. He can't let the Alliance
That's
be the
actually
only
pretty
ones
cool.
getting
I didn't know about
obliterated,
this.
right? Then, much later down the line, as many of you know, we had World of Warcraft Classic, which released on patch 1.12. That was sadly a patch where Kazakh and other world bosses had now been leashed to their areas, so it meant players couldn't recreate the exact same
So
chaos as
sad.
before. But, of course, there were still some pretty good alternatives, and players are pretty stubborn. The most popular had to be Teramis the Devourer, again located in the Blasted Lands. Even though he wasn't nearly as powerful as Kazakh, his AoE ability still made him quite the threat, especially early
To
on in
Lola.
Classic where people were rushing to pull him. Regardless, Kazakh's invasion left its mark on WoW's history as one
Sure
of the
did.
deadliest incidents to ever unfold. I mean, this guy alone was infinitely more potent
What a
than the
legend.
whole Legion forces in the Legion expansion. Those guys were so bad at
was.
invading that by the end of it, we ended up invading them back. And this guy over here just wiped out the Alliance in a single day.
We in essence reverse penetrated the Legion, if you think about it. Imagine, the Legion came, they were ready to get us, and we pulled a 180 on them. They got ready to mount us from behind, and we flipped it. The devastation.
Go figure. With that, players would continue living on happily ever after, knowing that no other horrible and unforeseen tragedy could possibly befall them once again.
That's a rough day. Oh,
Oh.
Jesus. Yep. The corrupted blood incident. I actually have a friend who went to medical school, and he did his project on the corrupted blood incident because it has been studied by epidemiologists, right, on how basically how diseases could spread in society. Because that disease, that dot, was amazing. It was good. He's a WoW player too.
If
He
a
did his
horrifying plague
medical school project on that. Genius. This was a great video.
was unleashed upon your favorite
Thanks for
video
suggesting
game,
this,
completely out of the
Tundra
blue.
and
Who would you think
Ensgrove.
would be responsible
If you ever
for
want to
this?
suggest videos, yeah, go ahead and throw them in the
Sylvanas?
Discord. Exclamation point
Blizzard?
Discord if you're not already
No,
part of it.
Much worse.
Check it
Hunters.
out. Hunters, okay. Yeah, hunters are always fun.